Okay, Delaney asks, how do you have enough time to work out and practice for the Highland Games with having kids? Short answer, I don't. That's really long and short of it. Highland Games and training, those are hobbies, those are passions, those are things that I go after when I have the time to. But even if it were my full-time job, like dream scenario, like I actually had any talent at these things and I could get paid for them as a full-time job, they still wouldn't be the priority over my kids. As I've said in a lot of previous episodes of this vlog, I do what I do because of them, not in spite of them. I don't push them to the corner. I don't make them invisible. They are the feature for my life. They are the reason that I do what I do. I like to impress my kids. I like to impress my son. I like them to think that I'm strong. I like them to see me strive for things and succeed at them. And I also like them to see me fail at them. I want them to experience that too. So how do I balance it all? Again, I don't. This is something that takes a very big backseat. My wife and I are very much in agreement. We very much have the same philosophy that work, anything else comes second. We have taken the responsibility to make little human beings, to make productive members of society. Now, does that mean that everything that you are as a person has to be thrown out the window? Absolutely not. I would argue that people who go too far in sacrificing their selfhood, their loves, their passions, they're doing their children a disservice. Being there every waking moment is a big part of parenting, but another part of it is being a role model. Another part of that is being somebody that is not only present and accounted for in their mind, but somebody they can look up to. Because at a certain age, they're going to be able to feed themselves, they're going to be able to clothe themselves. I don't know when that is, maybe like another 10, 15 years, it feels like it, but they're going to be able to take care of themselves and do the basic needs, the things that you're doing for them, or they should be able to. So what happens after that? Who are you to that person after that? Who are you to that little human that you're trying to make? Well, in my mind, you should be somebody that they look up to, somebody that they want to be like, or somebody that they want to go on adventures with, or somebody that they know that they have a crazy idea or a passion, that they can bring it to you and they can have an honest, frank discussion. So that's what all this is about. That's how I find balance. My personal accomplishments, they're for me. Like the things that the trophies I get, the PRs that I get, those are for me because my kids truly, honestly don't care about that. They care about their dad. I care about those things. So those are the ways that I find to express my passion, to express myself in what I'm doing. But those little things in comparison to what I'm doing with them don't matter one bit. I would not put 5 pounds or 50 pounds on any lift or 10 feet on any throw to sacrifice quality time with my kids. Russ asks, do you use Nair when you wear those short shorts? Absolutely not. My fans like it furry. Okay, Aisha asked a very technical caber question, and totally asking the right guy here, just well known as a caber stud. Not at all. So, what's the best way of picking up the caber without losing the balance? I can't never grab it from the bottom with fingers laced, but I pin it on the lower part. I can still toss it and flip it, but I know it's not the proper way. Yeah, so here's the deal. The reason you can get away with that, Aisha, is because you're strong enough to get away with it on the cabers that you've seen so far. People that can get their fingers under and lift it from the bottom, that's just not enough of a stick for you to be challenged by. That's why you can take them and turn them and flip them without a problem. You probably don't even need to walk to turn those. So at a certain point when you're competing at a certain level, you are not going to be able to brute force those things up. You are going to need to learn to get the fingers like this. Use tack to get your fingers like this. Spray the back of your fingers. When you spray or put tack, a little bit of tack on the back of your fingers so it gets rid of that temptation or that ease of opening up. And you have to squeeze the caber into that cup right there. You have to squeeze. That's what the key. That's what a lot of people miss. They think they can just kind of wrap. You have to squeeze to the heels of your hands. As you start to pull, you pop the caber up. Now, that's where a lot of people lose the balance. They get it up. Maybe even they get their hands under. You don't break your fingers. But you get your hand under like this, but then you get this whole battle right here. A big reason for that is positioning when you're pulling it up. Get the caber resting on your shoulder. Get it pointing back above your shoulder like this. So when you pick it up, you're going to move forward. It's going to happen. Just the nature of your body, because you're hinging up basically, and there's a big heavy weight in front of you. You're going to come forward. So you're going to get a little waggle from the caber like this. So you need to have your face on it like this. You need to keep it on your shoulder and move your feet to get under it. You have to make it so this part of your body is immovable, is covered in glue, is cemented in place where you have this caber. Once you start doing this, you're in trouble, because you're trying to deal with the entire weight of that caber wobbling like this. Now, it's possible you can recover from it, especially if you're strong enough, especially if it's not enough of a stick. But I would much rather pop it up, have it secured against my body, and make the adjustments with my feet as I go. Find a stick, like even a half stick, something that it doesn't matter what it weighs. It can be like a 6-foot old broken caber. I have a broken caber leaning up against my house that I work on this with. I used to really struggle with the pick. Is just get down, pick it, put it down again. Pick it up, put it down. Pick it up, put it down, over and over and over again until that is second nature. Beyond that, to get that balance, start working on drills where you pick, and you just, with a full-size stick even, you pick and you try to just hold it. Without moving your feet as little as possible. Try to hold that stick in place. Try to be as quiet as possible with that stick until you get the use of that. Don't worry about running and flipping it yet. That part comes later. Get it solid, get it secured, get it quiet, and then just put it down and try again. Now, the next step after that is start walking with it. The next step after that, start running with it, and then you start doing your full attempts. Cody says, will lightweights ever become a professional class in Highland Games? No, absolutely not. They will not. If it happens, paint me surprised, and I'll be the first one to drop back down to weight eventually, I guess. I'll be the first one to be 199 pounds and be out there and throw them with the pro lightweight class. It's just not going to happen, man. There's a couple of things in play here. There's not a ton of money flying around in this sport. There's enough money to pay the pros that get paid at the games where they are, and I feel like a lot of times we're kind of maxed out there already. They're doing whatever they can to get as many of the top pros as they can. Do I believe that, you know, myself included, maybe some of the other lightweight athletes, that we're worthy of that regard, that we have that level of athleticism that people might want to watch and pay for and see at festivals? Sure, I believe that. But there's a realistic aspect to this. We are an entertainment product. At the end of the day, Highland Games is festival entertainment. So when people go to the circus, they want to see the elephants. And that's kind of what you're dealing with. I stole that from Jason Pegg, who also has a question later. But they want to see the elephants. They want to see the big guys. They want to see freaks of nature throwing things really far. Now, sometimes when I throw with the great big guys that are 300 pounds plus, way stronger than me, I'm a novelty because people like that. Hey, you're a little guy and you're hanging with the big guys. Like even I can be last or middle of the pack or whatever. People don't care because they think it's neat. But that only exists because of the contrast. When it's a group full of guys my size, it's interesting if you understand the sport, but we don't have enough of an exposure yet to where people are going to be like, oh yeah, well these are the lightweight classes and these are the heavyweight classes. Because it's not a sport like fighting with multiple weight classes. It's not like powerlifting where fundamentally everybody can kind of do the same things. Fighting is a great example. Almost every weight class, they can knock each other out. They can submit each other. They can do all those things. They can do those fundamental things. At the end of the day, the best lightweight in the world is never going to throw as far as one of the top pros. He's just not going to. And that's what we're on the field for. That's what people want to see. So you have to accept that fact. If somebody wants to pay lightweights money and travel to go somewhere and throw, like I said, I'll be the first one that signs up. I just don't expect it, and I don't think that I deserve that. So Kyle asks, where's your beard?
Okay.
Ooh, nice sprinkles.
So can I see Matthew from play?
Jason Pegg asks, bringing shorts to the Arnold. I need another pair. Buddy, I've been wearing them for a couple of days now. Marinating them nice, getting the aroma just how you like it. Squatbot asks, what are the worst injuries you've seen take place at a games? I honestly haven't really seen that many. I've seen, you know, just classic knees blown out and old dude injuries. The closest thing, I think, is that I saw a Masters thrower at Arlington, who shall remain nameless, but he might watch this. I saw him pass out in the heat because it was right around 100 degrees. It was just Texas summer. It's May. And I think it was like by the third event because he had been slamming Miller Lite all morning. So probably pretty well into a 12-pack at that point. And hey, he was dehydrated and passed out and they had to cart him off the field. So that was kind of cool. I mean, not for him, but I mean, at least I got a story now, right? Kyle Stowey asks, what's it like being a lightweight in a big man sport like the Highland Games? Two parts of the question, and then what are the differences in weights for implements? Dude, it's awesome being a little guy. Like, you know, I can fret about it a lot, and there are times when I wish, you know, there was a genie that I could ask to, you know, put 40 pounds of mass on me and, you know, all that kind of good stuff so I could fit in more. But, dude, I wouldn't change anything because I can make the case that a lot of the experiences that I've had in this sport are because that I'm the little guy on the field. You know, I've maybe gotten more attention that way. Maybe my story's more interesting to people. Maybe I'm more relatable to folks like yourself because, you know, I'm a guy that's in the low 200s that has managed to hang in there. I'm not great. I'm not world class or anything like that. Not when you start talking about throwing with the big boys, I'm not. But yeah, it's fun. It's certainly not a negative. Like, if I really, really thought, like, I had to do something about it, and I had to be huge to get there. I would have done it by now. So obviously there's something I'm getting out of being one of the smaller guys, and there's something I enjoy about it. I like the challenge. And I'm not going to lie, I have had several instances, lots in my career, where I'm on the field with guys that outweigh me by anywhere from 60 to 100 pounds and are miles stronger than me, and I beat them. And that feels pretty cool. I mean, it's fun. And at the end of the day, those guys are able to laugh about it just as much too, because that's the nature of this sport. This isn't like a, a gung-ho, like win at all costs, kind of mean mugging sport. It's not hardcore. It's good for a laugh, and it's fun. It's entertaining. That's what people like to watch us on the field. It's fun. And, if kids or grown-ups or smaller dudes that are into lifting and sports and stuff like that can look at me and see like, hey, there's a path where you can throw, maybe with close to the top group, or maybe you can be a lightweight and you can really work on the craft and become world-class at it, then that's awesome. That's exactly like what I want, to inspire people to pass something on. I'm only going to do this for so long, and nobody will remember what I did in 10, 20, 30 years at all. But to be able to pass on to other people, grow the sport, get more people involved in lifting, training, throwing, being athletic, yeah, man, that's what it's all about. And then the differences in implements for the lightweights is pretty simple. We throw everything pretty much the same, except for on the heavyweight for distance, instead of a 56, we throw a 42. And same thing for the weight for height. Instead of a 56-pound weight, we throw a 42. All right, that's it for the questions. So I really do appreciate anybody that takes the time to put in a question. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate anybody that's, like I said, coming along for the journey with me. The rest of this week, just gonna train, I'm on a deload, and I've got my first competition, which actually lines up pretty well. So I'll probably be feeling pretty good for that. But I'll probably find some way to injure myself, or probably manage to get a cold or something like that. But hey, makes for a better story.